Welcome on my channel. My name is Batida De Loco and I will show you my home studio today. I wanted to start this channel off with a tour of my home studio. And by tour, I mean show you around this room. And by home studio, I mean this room. It's my working room where I do a bunch of my real work, because in real life I'm a teacher and I sit on this desk and do real work. And my hobby is music creation for over 20 years now. So I sit on this desk, use this computer, this rack and this machine just to do some music, play music, make music for me. And sometimes I do export a track and say this is a track I made, and in the future I will make this music available. I created an account at DistroKid. This is no commercial for any kind. I get no money, or this is not sponsored anything. But I use DistroKid. Just recently created an account and uploaded some stuff just to test it, and I will release music there. So it's available on every platform: Amazon, iTunes, Spotify, and so on. Okay, so this is my my realm. I sit here and in the evening with a beer. Back in the days, I smoked in the studio. Maybe I find a picture from 15 years ago, 2006 or so. Back then it was really funny. I lived in an apartment together with a friend of mine, and we had one room with a 3-room apartment. One room was to just make music, hang out, and he did some film stuff, so it was quite fun. And the studio room was very funny. Well, okay, funny times. Well, okay, this is my home studio. I will take this small camera to show you around. Okay, so we start with my Mac, I think. This is my my MacBook. It's 2020 MacBook. It's the first M1 MacBook Pro. I recently bought it because my old MacBook, which was from 2013, just didn't make it anymore. It's up on eBay right now. I hope to sell it for $200 to $300 and buy some other equipment of that money. Yeah, and this new MacBook is just gorgeous. It's awesome, amazing. All those cool words Steve Jobs used to describe stuff. Yeah, it just works for me. I use Logic Pro. I used some other software. Okay, so this is my computer. I have a second computer. Well, this is just the second display I use for that. Sadly, those new Macs don't support more than one external display. So the second display on the right to that is just connected to the computer under my desk. On this computer, the mouse doesn't work. It's a Linux machine. It's Ubuntu, a special version, Ubuntu Studio. It's just filled with, I would show you screen capturing, but I don't have screen capture software running right now. So it's filled with tools for audio creation, video creation, everything. If you start out with creating music, I strongly recommend to install Ubuntu Studio if you don't use a Mac. On a Macintosh you have GarageBand, and that's an totally awesome free software to start make music. If you are using Windows, install Ubuntu Studio. It's a software in here called Ardour. I use Ardour for, well, 15 years now. I installed it 2005, 2006 for the first time. It was a pain in the ass back then, but now, today, you just install it, it works. It just works. I use an audio interface called Delta 1010. I got it very cheap on eBay. It's an internal PCI card, not PCI Express, it's just PCI. It works awesome. It's just cool. It has 8 ins, 8 outs. I can record all 8 outputs of my MPC directly into the program. So I open one old track here. It's just an instrumental and some vocals in there. Just to show you, this is the program. Well, it's the mixer with just 3 tracks. It looks like, well, a normal DAW. It doesn't cost anything. It is limitless. You can use unlimited tracks. You have software instruments, all that stuff. So, okay, to the right of my computer, I have my rack. This rack starts at the top with my audio interface. It's the recording interface I use on my Macintosh. It's an Behringer Euphoria UMC 404. I don't like Behringer as a company, but it was cheap, has 4 inputs, and that's what I need. Under this, I have this thing. I built it myself. It's called Punk Mix 1000. It has, I think, 8 stereo ins. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1 stereo out. Unfortunately, the output is wired the wrong way, so it flips left and right channels, but only at the output. So it does not really matter if you connect it wrong. Yeah, this just has 8 stereo ins, so I can plug any stereo in, and this is a master volume control. These come from my MPC. I have not connected them yet. Okay, so under this mixer, I have 2 patch bass. Overkill. It's overkill. 2 patch bass are a real overkill, but I don't have a big enough mixer to connect all my gear. So I use them to connect all outs and all ins. And then everything is plugged in somewhere, and to connect it, I just use patch cables like these to connect it. So here, the turntables are here. They are connected to the MPC 2000. And here is something else connected to something else. Well, I have a sheet, a numbers sheet, where every connection is listed, and I have it open if I want to connect something. So everything goes into this thing. Here is my 22-year-old Easy 4000 from EMU. My first sampler. I bought it used from a friend, a good friend of my brother. Yes, it was my first sampler. It's a pain in the ass to work with these days. If you use it to sample and cut and layer samples, but it has a nice sound. It has 2 inputs, and of course it's a sampler, and 10 outputs, I think. Output 1 to 8 and 1 effects output. It has an internal effects board. This one I upgraded it with an internal SD card, and you see here it has a floppy emulator, so I can connect this USB stick with, well, unlimited floppies, 16 gigabytes on a USB stick with floppies, so it's unlimited storage. It has 32 megabytes of internal memory. So it's very much upgraded to the max, and it's an awesome sampler. I love it. I just love this thing. I hope it's not too loud. So under this I have this Akai S700. Is the second sampler released by Akai Professional. This Akai 700 is well, it's not mine. It's from a friend who gave it to me to use because he has a 900, and it's basically sounds the same, but it's more usable and it's just more user friendly. This one is not that user friendly. It has also this Gotek emulator where I can where I can select a floppy. It's a display here that shows how the floppy is called. I can call them, I can load from this, and then I can use it. It's well, it's much well, I enjoy it, working with it. I don't hear anything. It's a noisy machine. Well, okay, I enjoy using it. It works very well. It has a nice sound. It has a nice filter. It's loved for its filter. I love it. Okay, so I not use it that often, but I use it from time to time just for its capabilities. Just use it as an instrument. Okay, under this I got the eMagic AMT8. It's a MIDI interface. It's a very cool MIDI interface. It's from eMagic. That's the same company that made Logic in the 90s. So it was supported by Logic Pro 10 until until I got the M1 Mac. It was just natively supported by Logic with all ins and outs. I could just use it. It's now, well, a bit of a hassle. I hope that Apple does update the internal Logic drivers for the M1. I got a third-party driver working on my Macs. I can kind of use it. It's not that convenient, but it works. Also, if I don't connect any USB, computer to it, so no USB cable, this one just works as a patch base. So all inputs are routed to all outputs, and I can just connect all MIDI stuff to this machine, and it's distributing MIDI notes to everything. So here, this is my DIY build of a Synthian. Synthian is an open source synthesizer platform based on a Raspberry Pi. So in this thing there's a Raspberry Pi, a USB hub, an audio interface, an ASIMAYA 44 with 4 ins and 4 outs, and this touch screen which I can use with this this stylus. I got basically 16 channels. I can use different sounds. It's a synthesizer with well, the Linux synthesizers that all are integrated on Ubuntu Studio work in this box standalone. I just can't find. Here it is. So with this thing, a little Akai Bluetooth and USB keyboard. I just can connect this via USB, and then it should work. It doesn't make a sound because I think it's turned on. No, it just doesn't work at the moment. It sometimes has a little bug. Well, could just restart it. I won't do it right now. Sometimes it's not working because I need to connect this thing again. No. Okay, strange. I don't know why. I just turned it off now. Yeah, it's a DIY build. Normally, the Synthian works with rotary encoders. For rotary encoders, instead of those arcade buttons, these arcade buttons are just, I had those here from another build I made. Throw some cables off here. The first DIY build I did was this thing. It's my, I call it local controller. It's just a MIDI controller with an Arduino in it. It has MIDI, power and USB for programming the Arduino. No. Okay, so it's just a MIDI controller. I connect this to this via this MIDI cable, and then maybe it works. I don't know. What's the cable? Here it is. So now I can use it. You see here. So you also see the inputs and the outputs. Inputs here, output there. On the AMT8. So it's just, yeah, this is a really simple build. I love it. I don't use it that often, but it's connected to my interface, my MIDI interface, and I can use it in Logic or control my sampler with it. Well, control, I just, like now, I got sounds out of the sampler. So this is the rack. The Synthian, one mini keyboard. So I got one MIDI keyboard connected to my Mac all the time. It's an Alesis, how it's called, V49 here. Alesis V49 has a nice feel to its keys. I think I like it. I'm not. I don't play piano that good. I play some chords and use it to make music in Logic. So, okay, to the right of my rack, there's my mixer. It's a small Mackie Mix 12 FX, small FX unit, which is crap, and 12 inputs. Well, 4 mono inputs, 4 stereo inputs. Some tape in out, all those little mixer stuff. It's a great mixer. It's a great value for the money. It's about $120 or something like that. And for that money, this is really great. It sounds really great. It's a Mackie mixer. It's robust, good mixer. Here's a small headphone amp. I bought this for, I think, 20 euros about 10-15 years ago. It is cheap. It sounds cheap, but it works, and well, it connects to my AKG headphones and all other headphones if I get a visitor and we make music together. It's a cheap headphone amp is a good way to get headphones for everyone. So, okay, next to this, there's my MPC 2000 XL. The MPC 2000 XL, it's my latest addition to my MPC. I bought it just a couple of months ago. It's in great condition. It has 8 outs and 32 megabytes of memory and one CF card in this floppy drive. I don't know if you can see it, but this here is a CF card. Yeah, I love this machine. It's such a groove. I love to work with it. It's slow. The workflow is really slow compared to the newer MPCs or the MPC software and the MPC Renaissance. but I really love the workflow. I just like to work it, and it has a nice sound, it has a nice feel, it just works. It's cool. So next to that, there's the MPC Renaissance. Sadly though, the Renaissance doesn't work with a modern M1 Mac. There's no driver available for it, and not only the problem was since some years, for some years now, the Renaissance didn't work completely with its audio interface capabilities, but it was possible to use the MIDI interface, or it was possible to use it as a controller for the MPC software, even until Big Sur. But on the M1 Macs it doesn't work at all. The Mac does realize there's a device, but Akai just doesn't release a driver. So for this reason, I have this 2009 MacBook upgraded to 8 gigs of memory, and it's with an SSD, and it only runs the MPC software, nothing else. It runs very well on this machine, and it's usable. Okay, next to the Renaissance, there is my turntable. It just looks like a Technics turntable. It's not. It's a Reloop RP 2000 Mark II. So Technics 1210 clone. Yeah, I just got it to. I have it to listen to records. I have a second one of this, but I just recently realized I do never use it. I don't ever use it to DJ. So I just got rid of one of this and use it to listen to records or sample from them. So that pretty much concludes my little home studio. I got one cheap mic stand and a condenser mic somewhere to record vocals. Oh, and I just forgot, I got this little thing. This little thing is my newest addition to my studio. It's a modular synthesizer. It's a starter kit. It's called Nifty Bundle with this nifty case and 2 modules in it from Create Audio. Yeah, I fiddled around with it, and I built 2 Arduino based modules. This one, it's called Tic Tac. It's just a clock, and this one, envelope generator. And yeah, I want to buy new modules for this when my MacBook is sold on eBay. And well, I think this concludes my tour. Well, so this is my home studio. It's the place where I sit and work on music, make music, create music, play music. I play music with this one for the last couple of days, 1 week, 2 weeks maybe. I love modular synthesis. It sounds crazy, and it's just, yeah, it's just awesome. So I hope you liked it. If you get any questions on anything, just leave a comment. Yeah, the next videos will be about machines, making beats, something like that. I have some plans. We'll see. So far, I hope you liked it. Peace out. Until next time.